Hi, it's Mr. Baumgarten here with my intro to Python videos. Let's carry on from where we were. Previously you were looking at variables, you were performing some number calculations, you were using string variables and slicing and dicing them into different parts, and you were prompting the user for a message and pulling out different parts of strings and doing some exercises along those kinds of lines. In this video, we are going to move on and learn how to get Python to start making some decisions for us. So we don't have to do all the work, let the computer start doing some of the work for us. So let's move on with that, shall we? This is where our program was before we left. So I'm just going to leave this exercise 1 to one side for a little bit. We can come back to that later on. And we'll just come back to using the the interpreter for a little while. So let's make some decisions. Is the number 1 equal to the number 1? Tricky question, you might ask. And how would Python be able to tell us? We use the double equal sign when we are asking a question. So is 1 equal to 1? Yes, it is. If I use the single equal sign, we would get an error. Can't assign to literal, because basically a single equal sign says I am trying to set a value to a variable. And whenever we're doing the variables, it's always the variable name is on the left and the calculation or the value is on the right. And 1 is not a valid variable name, and so this has come up with an error. But if I'm asking a question, a comparison, I use 2 equal signs. Is 1 equal to 0? No, false, as we would expect. Is the lowercase a equal to a lowercase a? Yes, it is. Is a lowercase a equal to an uppercase a? No, it is not, because Python is case sensitive, remember? What if I want to say, is a not equal to z? That is correct. That is a true statement. A is not equal to z. So not equal is the exclamation sign and the equals. Is the number 1 greater than the number 0? Yes, it is. Right. Is the number -1 greater than 0? No, it is not. Make sure you get your head around the maths of this. Is the number 2 greater than or equal to the number 3? No. Just also, again, reminder, I expect that you are performing all these for yourself and probably experimenting with some of your own numbers and combinations. All right. Make sure you're not just watching the video, but you are following along, performing and practicing what I'm showing you. Is the number -3 less than the number -1? Yes. Is 3 less than 1? No. Okay, you've got to think about your number line here. Is 2, we already said that 2 is 2 greater than or equal to 3, and we already had false. What about is 2 less than or equal to 3? Well, that would be a true. Okay, so we've got equals, or asking is it equal, asking is it not equal, less, we've got greater thans, we've got less thans, we've got greater than equal to, less than equal tos. We can also check to see if one thing appears inside another, or this is known as checking for containment, particularly relevant in strings. So for example, does H appear in hello? Yes, it does. Does lowercase z appear in hello? No, it does not. Is z not in hello? Oh yes, that is a true statement. So we can compare things together. All right, we can compare numbers, we can compare strings, but what we really want to do to start making the power of programming come to life is to make choices and run programming code on the basis of these comparisons. So the way, you might be familiar with the idea of an if statement, but that's basically all is going on here, is we ask a question, and if that question is true, then Python will do whatever commands we've put there. And if the question comes back as a false, then it won't run those commands. And so the trick is to figure out, okay, what question is it that I'm needing to ask? And the questions need to always boil down to a true or a false result. So, if banana is in the Bananaramas, let's make sure I spell this right. All right. Then print long live the 80s. Okay, so what's going on here? If this string appears inside this string, then it will run this command. All right, and so the trick with it in terms of how to type it is we have the keyword if, we have our question. All right, this is framed the exact same way as this over here. All right, so if this is equal to true, all right, so we've got the if command, the statement that comes to true or false, followed by the colon, sorry, and then we indent the commands that we want to run when that is true. Let's take another look at a different example. Suppose we have a brother and sister and we're wanting to compare their ages and find out who's the older. All right, so the sister's age might be 15. The brother's age might be 12. If the sister, age is greater than the brother age, all right, and then we indent, and we will say sister is older. I can then hit back. Oops. Sorry. I'm not used to doing this in the interpreter. Let's go back to our exercises, shall we? Let's do it here where we can type this out properly. Okay, so new file. All right, sister age is equal to 15. Brother age is equal to 12. Fair enough. If sister age is greater than brother age, then what happens? Okay, so I've got the if, I've got my question, and then I've got the colon, and then I indent, and in this case, the sister is older. And then I come back and I say else with my colon. So if the first thing hasn't happened, then do this. All right, that's what the else command basically says. In that case, brother is older. Okay, notice that these are both indented the same amount. Python will not work correctly if you indent them differently. So if you did that, right, this would generate errors. They have to indent the same amount, and the editor will helpfully do that by default for you. So let's just save this one. Let's just call it exercise 2. And if I run this, right, it says sister is older. But if I now change the brother's age to be 17, and I save and I run, it now says the brother is older. What happens if they are both 15? It says the brother is older. Okay, and this is where you have to think about the question that you ask, right? Because this just gets simplified into a simple true or false. And the question we're asking is this number greater than this number? No, it's not, because they are equal. I could make this a greater than or equal. And if I save that and run it, it'll now tell me sister is older. But that's not really what I want either, is it? I want it to tell me if they are equal, then I want to know that they are the same age. How can I do that? I can add in here another question. All right, elif sister age is equal to, remember we use the double equal sign, brother age, and in this case, ages are the same. They might be twins. All right, and I can save and I can run. Ages are the same, they might be twins. Fantastic. So I can, so basically elif is short for else if. So I'm saying if this is true, run this. Else, if it's not true, is this true? And if it is, run this. Else, so if nothing above has been true yet, run this one. And I can have as many elifs in here as I want. I can ask this question lots of times. So, well, one example of a way in which I could do that is I might have a variable called day of week. And let's make it just equal to 3 for now. And I can say if day of week is equal to 1, print, now this is location dependent upon where you are, whether you start your weeks with Mondays or Sundays. I start with a Sunday. Else, if day of week is 2, then let's say that it is Monday. Else, if the day of week is 3, print Tuesday. What am I doing? Tuesday. All right, you get the idea. I can keep going with this as much as I want. How about I do some copy and pasting? I've got 4. Let's copy and paste in 3 more and update this day of week to 5, 6, 7, and then this one becomes Thursday, Friday. Oops. Come on. Saturday. All right, let's run this exercise 3. Run day of week is Tuesday. Okay, because if it was 3, 1, 2, 3. Is this true? No. Is this true? No. Is this true? Yes. And as soon as something is true, it's not going to ask the rest of it. It'll just exit out of the if statements and come down to whatever you have after the if. Thanks. Have a nice day. All right, run that. Oops. Run Tuesday. Thanks. Have a nice day. Okay. So it will exit out of the indents and then carry on with whatever else you have. We can, of course, use our input command. All right. So earlier on when we were doing strings, we had, all right, we said input. So let's put in a print, enter a number 1 to 7, representing day of week. All right. You're not really ever going to do a program like this. Now, this is not going to work. It's going to crash, and I will show you it crashing first. Enter a number 1 to 7, let's put in 5, and it just says, thanks, have a nice day. Okay, it didn't actually crash, but it didn't work either. All right, because none of these things were actually true. And the reason for this is because the input command provides a string. So down here, when I typed in number 5, day of week, all right, the contents of day of week, if I print out day of week, in fact, all right, it will show you what I mean. Print out the number 5. No, didn't. Will it do it in the interpreter? Yes. All right, you see it's got the quotes there because it's a string. It's not a number. I have to convert it from a string into a number. And in this case, I'm wanting it as an integer. So I use int to say whatever was in that string, whatever string input gives you, turn it into an integer. And now, when I run this, and I type in a 5, oops. All right, it says Thursday. Thanks, have a nice day. All right, alternatively, if I didn't want to do that, then what I would have to do up here is put quotes around everything. All right, so that I'm comparing a string to a string. And that would also work. So there's different ways you can do this, depending upon what it is you are trying to achieve. Run, and now if I type in 5, hit enter, it works. All right, so we have just learned about if statements. We've done ifs, we've done elifs, and we can also have an else as our fail-safe catch-all at the end. So instead of day of week, does day of week equal 7? I could just say else day of week 7, file, save, run, and type in 5, hit enter, Thursday, thanks, have a nice day. So you can have as many different elifs as you want. Else is your catch-all. And at this juncture, I suggest take a bit of a break, but also let's do some practice and work through the exercises that I will have given you, and then come back and do the next video. This is Mr. Baumgarten signing off.